So the past couple of planche videos I've made, I've talked a lot about the frustration and just the inconsistencies I've been finding in my performance. I'm trying to find a reason why certain cases were certain sessions I weren't feeling the best, and like why there's other sessions where I'm just peaking in strength. And the main conclusion I've come to is that, well, I was obviously overtraining, and I I was pretty naive in the way I've approached my workouts, or at least the way I've approached recovery. I haven't really been acknowledging how much I should be recovering and how much I should be adding into a workout to make it optimal. Where if I put too much volume, then that just comes into the territory of junk volume. And one thing I also wanted to talk about was documenting my journey, or at least my exercises, in a journal. Now, this was actually suggested by Neith Loneheart, and he told me way before. I remember him saying maybe I should just record my RPE for each of my workouts, or like each hold or working set that I do. And at the time, I was like, oh, well, I'm already recording in my dialogue and like how I felt in the sessions in the workout, so in the videos. So it would kind of be a bit redundant. Another part of me also thought if I have too much of if I start to overanalyze things like my effort and how things felt and all these other factors, I felt as though it would really start to overcomplicate my journey, and I would get really frustrated over very tiny things where I should just be relying on the process and just not worrying too much about very tiny details. However, I've decided I'm actually going to write down how the holds felt as a number, and or like out of 10, and I want to record what my trends are like. One thing he did mention is by recording the effort and seeing how the certain holds felt, you could probably distinguish which phases were like weeks of overtraining, or which days did you find most optimal. And I had a general idea of what it was like. On days where I was overtraining, I took recovery a bit more carefully, and the next weeks I would come back with some pretty strong holds. And after that, it kind of plateaus, and the cycle just repeats over and over again. So if I actually put that into a graph and like a line graph with numbers, then I think it would actually help with finding out when I start to come into these I guess like these trends of overtraining. And while there are some like confounding effects stating that, like, maybe on certain days where I don't feel good, I probably just didn't get enough sleep, and that's something I haven't recorded. At times it does make me wonder whether I'm, like worrying about small things a bit too much compared to the bigger picture. So for example, while I may say, oh, the past session I did these certain exercises, and that made me super tired for the next day. But in the moment, maybe there was a trend that when I did those days, I just didn't have good enough sleep, or when I was performing those certain exercises, again, maybe my recovery wasn't the best. And while those factors aren't considered, I think it's still a good idea to have this journal and write down just how I felt for each exercise and each working set. While a lot of my videos will be talking about what I felt, putting onto actual paper and numbers, I'm looking forward to it, and I think it may provide a bit more analysis over time. So yeah, that's basically it, and I'll finish it off here.